Hey, Jimmy, when you get a cup of coffee from the Keurig, which ounces button do you press?
Oh, I go right to the 12 on a 10-ounce cup.
Yeah,
because I want to get every drop, you know? You know
Hi there,
me.
Producer Jeff hanging out in the control room, producer Alyssa in his
Hi.
shadow. Jimmy's making a mess out here. I hit the 8-ounce button on the Keurig because I feel like it brews a stronger cup of
Trail.
coffee. Steadicam
It's
Mike,
all
where
over
you at? Where's Steadicam Mike? He's in the control room.
Trail of
I want Mike
coffee.
to show the trail of coffee
You can't
leading to
see-
Jimmy's seat. Go that
Right
way.
there you go. Wait,
No.
can you see it?
my
Now,
gosh.
that camera's not going to get it. We're going
Dang
to
it.
have to get the Steadicam on.
He came next to me Monday. I had a white dress on, and he's all like,
Yeah.
Give me a hug. Come on.
Yeah.
Bring it in!
Come on, bring it in. When do we hug it out on
sits
Monday?
down, all sloppy.
And then I love it because he always just rubs it with his shoe. He's like, oh, putting it in
All
the
clean.
Yeah.
What do you
Perfect.
say to the wife when you're making a mess at home? I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Take care of it. You
I
just
got
relax.
it. Don't even worry.
I'll take care
I got
of
my
it.
own special way of doing things.
Oh my
I bet you do.
I had a buddy. Oh, there it is.
Look
There's
at, I mean,
Steadicam.
that can't
Look
be
at
good
it.
for the cameras.
That is some damning evidence
You know
right
what it
there.
looks like? Like somebody just got a puppy. Like you just bought a puppy.
A puppy with the
It
runs.
just wetted itself all over the place.
Oh, that's good television right there. We have time for a quick story time off the top before we
Already?
get into our
Do it.
topic.
Okay.
Early, I like it.
Wait, did we add your head yet?
What?
Hey, dang it.
I'm
not yet.
Graphic. I'm spacing out. I had a story and now it's gone.
Oh, great, Paul.
That's called old age.
I had a story. We're back
The
to
wife
Forget
taking
it.
care of it. The wife.
I'll
I
take
got
care of it. Yes,
I'll
you
take
got it.
care of
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Thank
we're
goodness.
back.
Wow, that was bad.
It's because you had NyQuil last
I need some
night.
sleep.
Ginkgo biloba.
That's the NyQuil
Ginkgo
tablet.
I did take
biloba.
NyQuil last night. I was feeling achy. I slept very well. So I used to work with this guy who I will not rat out because actually he's working in an Arizona market now. So I don't want to get this kid in any trouble, but he was the quintessential bachelor.
Yeah.
Without being cool, just a bachelor. He just lived at home and couldn't take care of himself.
Oh, gosh. That's not.
like,
Vanessa and I are like, oh, bachelor
Yeah, no,
story.
not a sexy bachelor at all. A guy
dude
that
that
like
lives with
didn't
his
know
wife.
how to clean
I don't
after
think you
himself.
earned the bachelor title
No,
in
no,
that
no.
case. Yes.
So anyway, long story short, he could not keep his place tidy. He eventually hired a maid who would come twice a month to clean up the joint, and he like
Twice a month?
subsequently not enough.
Yeah.
He subsequently fell in love with the maid, and that was a whole debacle because she wasn't interested in him after cleaning up his
my
messes all the time.
gosh.
But this guy, like, when that would happen, when there'd be a trail of stuff spilled, he would just like throw a towel on it and just leave it there for a few days.
Oh, my gosh.
One time he spilled Kool-Aid all over his apartment and he threw a towel on it. And then he had an ant problem and was trying to figure out
go
why.
figure.
He also contracted an ant problem when he left half of a watermelon rind sitting out on the counter for over a week,
my
according to
God.
him.
Crazy.
And couldn't figure out why there was an issue. He's like, well, I put a towel on it. That's the way he sounds. That's how he talks. He's a friendly guy. You guys would love him. Anyway, that's it. It's just that
My roommate did the same
sometimes
thing.
guys
How is
clean up
this guy
messes in
still
creative
single?
ways. Yeah, right.
Why is it at home?
My buddy did
What's
the same
wrong?
thing. We called him Spanky.
Ah.
And yeah, he,
Pleasant fella, Spanky.
for whatever reason, I mean, we were in a wonderful household. He would store his food in his room. He'd just put he'd have it in these little containers that would leak, and we'd see trails of ants going all the way through the
Oh,
house
my goodness.
and into his room. One day he came back from covering the San Diego wildfires, and I'm talking to him, and he sits there, and I said, hey, you might want to wash your hands. They're black from the fire. And he sits there, I said, okay. So he goes to the faucet and just turns it on, no soap, and he's just kind of going like that. Like, dude, what are you doing? You know, he would actually he would take Cheetos, wrap them in those Velveeta, those little slice things, and then he'd put Cheese Whiz on top of that. And he'd
Oh,
go,
wow. That's not
Wow.
good for you.
Oh.
Spanky. I love it. And he's the nicest guy
I'm
ever.
sure.
Sounds like a
And you're
delight.
single, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's sink our
New
teeth into our
segment. Why
topic this
people
morning.
are still single.
Why am I single? Well, the Cheese Whiz thing, that's one, Spanky.
Yikes.
Spanky, I wish you luck in your romantic endeavors. Okay, so let's dive into this. There are already a lot of people talking in the
Oh,
comment
yes,
section. and
Paul, I
we've been
think you
going at it
stirred a
all
lot
day.
of people this morning.
We're talking about the NCAA financially compensating its student athletes. Apparently, the group is forming a separate group that'll determine how its rules could be changed, theoretically, that would allow college athletes to receive some sort of compensation for their names, images, and likenesses. Although when this report is released, they have already made it clear that they're not going to be talking about explicitly paying players to play college sports. This is just for the use of their likenesses in posters or video games or advertising
Right.
material. Their final report is due in October, and we want to know what you think. Do you think players in NCAA sports deserve to be compensated? That's it. And you can go off on this topic in whatever direction you like because it is a very multifaceted discussion. I'm curious to get your opinions on this, guys.
A lot of people already chiming in.
Yeah. Is this Tom?
Whoa, that's a long.
Tori, yes.
Go ahead.
So Tom says, yeah, it's long. So he says no, they should not be getting paid for their names or likenesses or images. The reason they should be getting paid is because I don't think corporations should be allowed to make money off college athletes named.
Okay, wait, but that's happening right now. I hope you realize that, right?
They are.
Okay, that is happening. That's
However,
not what this issue is about.
if this is going to be allowed, then I think that any money should be applied to their college education. However, if they do have a full scholarship, then I believe it's the right of the college who provided the education to take any money made and be put back into the college program itself.
Oh, okay. All right, Tom. So a couple things in play here. One, not every college athlete is on full scholarship. So a lot of these people aren't having their educations completely paid for. Some of them not at all, walk-on athletes. Two, these schools, especially the schools that have big Division I college basketball and football programs, are making hundreds of millions of dollars off of the athletes who are receiving none of the compensation for use in promotional campaigns or in video games or in whatever. So the issue the NCAA is trying to address is specifically that, not compensating athletes for their labor, which I personally think should be the case anyway, because the people that are getting rich off this aren't the ones doing the work. This is, in some ways, like they're indebted servants to these universities. The coaches are making millions of dollars a year. The administrators are making millions of dollars a year. The athletic revenue generated by those sports is in the millions of dollars a year, yet the student athletes are only being compensated with an education, if you can call it that, because that education is not like your or my education. They're on the road. They're working a full-time job to be a student athlete. Forget about having to have another job to keep a roof over your head or food in your mouth. A lot of these guys have to work and do the job of being a student athlete and be a student that's always on the road. It's a lot, and I think they should be compensated because a lot of these kids aren't going to be able to make any money playing sports at the next level either. So they're generating revenue for these universities, and then they're going to be cast aside and say, well, you got an education. Enjoy your comm degree, Jimmy. Good luck with all your relevant skill sets.
But what about like what Ron says? What about instead of getting paid, they develop some sort of a fund that's kind of put aside, the money's put aside, gives them an incentive to graduate, which I mean, not all student athletes should be.
I don't disagree with anything so far.
Taken out when you're a freshman. And then maybe you could use that fund for their first house or whatever they want to invest in down the road after graduating.
What happens if you have to leave school then? Because not everyone can stick in school.
Athletics,
injury
or
or
academics or what?
Maybe you decide you don't want to be a doctor anymore or whatever. Like, so then what happens to the fund? There's a lot of questions. There's no easy answer to this. And my counterpoint to that is, well, how are you getting by now? Like, people don't just have money. Like, there are some people that get put through school by mom and dad or by a fund that was set up when they were younger or through scholarships. But there are, I would say, the vast majority of students take out their own loans.
Yeah.
Like, I'm saddled with student loan debt. I pay over $600 a month on my student loans. How is that student athlete expected to get by while he or she is in college without some sort of compensation? Because you have to work another job. Like, student athletes have it pretty tough right now. Like, ask any student athlete who has ever competed, especially at the highest levels. That is not a cushy gig. That is not a luxury life that they're living.
What about, I'm just saying, I'm not.
Please, no, I like the discussion.
When a lot of the student athletes go to school, I hear that they get away with a few things, not taking tests, people helping them with their homework.
Not anymore.
Getting free perks on food on campus.
No.
I feel like they do get a lot of
I feel like
They do
it's
get a lot of perks, but the tests and all that, they've cut back on that. The coaches will lose their jobs, and coaches make
And they have.
millions and millions of dollars. They will not put that into jeopardy. That's why these athletes, you need to get, if your kids are trying to get to college as an athlete, their grades need to be high, because the coaches, no, I can't mess around with that. But your other stuff, you're right. They do get a lot of perks and food and stuff.
They do,
but not enough.
I remember when
not enough.
Just a couple years ago, they changed the food rules. You used to be able to not give student athletes food. Like, that was an NCAA violation. Now they have it set up, especially in some of the bigger schools, where they have like a cafeteria that's open to student athletes where they can come get a meal if they need to. Now, food is one thing. The other perks are another. I had a viewer on Twitter get into an argument with me this morning about how, well, they get a bunch of free swag and apparel, and that should be counted towards compensation. Nope. And that to me is a joke, because you're saying that the T-shirt that you gave me with the University of Michigan logo on it, that I have to go out and wear and represent your university for free, that I'm giving you the free labor for, I'm representing that, and that's a perk to me for some reason. Like, here, Jimmy, you work for Channel 12. Okay? But we're not going to pay you for any of your services. But here's a 12 News shirt, so you can go around and tell everyone how great 12 News is. that you're not being paid for. You're like, did you see how little sense that makes? That's not a perk. That's free advertising that student athlete is doing for the university.
Another thing, at the very least, they should set up, and I'm talking not just football players, but female volleyball players, whoever, they need to have their health care taken care of. These are top athletes. They're not professional athletes, but they're top. And I played tops in high school, and we were 10 miles away from Division I athletes, Division I collegiate athletes. The injuries that they sustain, and they have nothing taken care of. There was a girl that I worked with that has had several knee operations from volleyball. And she's been out of it for 20 years now. That's all on her own dime, all of it. And the football players, they don't go on to play professional. They don't have any of that stuff.
So I just got a text from a student athlete who I'm going to keep anonymous that's watching the show right now. We were only given $10 for dinner when I was a student athlete for road games. That's not enough. And then on all the campus places, they were closed at 8 p.m., which was an hour before our practice even ended. Student athletes need to be paid. We did get our health care covered just to counter Jimmy. I don't know if that's a universal thing now with health care. It probably depends on the university you're at.
Is it covered after you leave the university? That's my question.
Yeah, it's a great question, because especially healthcare for a lot of those student athletes, they're covered by their parents because they're under the age of 26.
Right, yeah.
But in terms of, like, here's another example. So there's a Michigan tight end by the name of Jake Butt. Laugh at his name if you like, but he was maybe the top tight end recruit coming out of college. He could have gone to the pros after his junior season. He decided to come back and do the good thing and finish his degree and play as a senior at Michigan. He tore his ACL and his MCL in the bowl game. It grossly affected his draft status. He went to the pros with the Denver Broncos and then re-injured his knee. Not sure if he's ever going to be able to play football at the professional level. Now, the smart thing that Jake did was take out an insurance policy against injury before he left school, so that if his draft status was affected, he could cash in on that insurance policy. And he did, but it's still nowhere close to what his earning potential would have been as a professional athlete. You're talking tens of millions of dollars versus a couple of $1 million. And now, fresh out of school, and this athletic promise that was given to him for the sacrifices that he went through for the NCAA to buoy the Michigan football program, now he's left empty-handed, basically. Now he's got nothing to show for his hard work. You can't say, oh, well, they're going to get paid in the pros. Work for free now. That's not the way the real world works. Hey, Jimmy, you want to work here for 4 years for free, and we'll give you a good job in year 5 if you're lucky?
If you're one of the few anchors that make it up to the next level. And on top of that, NCAA, it's nonprofit. It's a nonprofit. They don't get taxed. They get all that stuff. So if your team wins a national, I want to go to every school that's won a national championship. Has the tuition gone down that next year? Have they taken all that?
No, it only goes up.
Keeps going up. The students don't benefit. Nobody benefits. And also, there's legal precedent on this. A federal agency ruled a few years ago that the Northwestern football team was allowed to unionize and become a union only because they were considered state employees. It's a job. You work for that university. You're more than just getting a free education. You actually are an employee, therefore you get to unionize. The amount of money you're making and putting your physical body, whether it be track, whatever, running, volleyball, football, basketball, you're putting your body for that school. And they're making, if this was 1940, different story. This is the amount of money, the TV contracts.
Here's another fun exercise. Just Google this right now. Google the highest paid public employee in every state. There's a list that'll come up. Almost all of them are football or basketball coaches for universities.
More than the governor.
Yeah. It's a lot of money involved in college athletics, but those coaches wouldn't even be where they are without exploiting the free labor of their players. Bottom line. And listen, I understand that it wasn't like this in the past. I understand that a few decades ago, college athletics wasn't what it is today, but we have to adapt to the changing landscape. These are not amateurs anymore. This is not amateur athletics. This is big, big business. And not paying the people who are doing the work is bad business.
Jeez, I've just gone to ASU, go to a football game there.
Did you read Jim's comment?
No, what was that?
He said they already get free education. It'll cost my grandson $100,000 to graduate from ASU as an out-of-state student.
Jim, but that's still not a universal. They don't just say, oh, you're an athlete, here's a free education. That's not how it works. There's only a certain number of scholarships for a certain number of programs, and a lot of them aren't even full scholarships. And then what do you do to cover the cost of living there and being a student? They're not even receiving stipends to buy food or to buy books. A lot of this stuff has to come out of their own pocket. It's not a free education. It's not like they're just writing you a check for whatever you need. That's not the way the system works.
And is your grandson generating revenue for the university?
Or is he just a student? Right.
Or is he a student? He is paying for a service. And the athletes are putting their body to generate a tremendous, way more than their education would
All
cost.
right, let's take a breather from this for a second. Get to our ICYMI and lighten the mood a little bit. This is another heated discussion we're about to have on this show, so buckle up. Check it out.
Big 7 Travel released its USA's sexiest accents for 2019 results. Texas accents top the list.
Is that how it goes? Is that the
Yeah.
accent? Texas?
Heck yeah, y'all. The rest of the top 5 went to Boston, New York, Minor, and Chicagoan accents. What do you think, Paul? The
I'm
internet
just shaking my head as you
The
read.
internet's going crazy with this one.
Boston accents aren't sexy. What
Not
kind of
at
list
all.
is this? That immediately invalidates the whole
Not
list
at
for
all.
me. I know people that live in Boston that won't date local Bostonians because their accents are so annoying.
So annoying.
I'm sorry if you have a Boston accent. It's not personal. It's
I think
just your
Bostonians know
voice.
it's annoying.
Who made this? Who voted and agreed on this? Did they just consult like 5 dudes at some bar? I'm sorry, I got to sneak this one in because I just came back from Canada. Everyone knows the sexiest American accent is Canadian.
Yes. as
I
you
have a
learned.
little bit of that bleeds into my voice, especially when I get excited because I'm from pretty close to the Canadian
Yeah.
border. And so like Michiganders are sort of native Canadians in some of the ways they speak. About your hoose. How about your hoose? No, that's not that. It's not quite that bad.
You're pretty accent free.
By the way, Arizona did not even make the list. So
That
if
makes
Arizonans
sense.
do have an accent, it's not pronounced enough for them to notice.
There's no accent here.
Jimmy, what was that? Buckeye?
Bring out the Buckeye one more
That's
time.
not
But
an
no,
Arizona
I
accent.
don't
That you
think
sang
there's
is city
accent.
funny.
Yeah.
I love how the Buckeye thing has become an on-air thing. Let me get a little behind the scenes here. So this started with, how did this even start? It was just some random, we were feeling loopy in the morning one day, and we were talking about ways to pronounce the names on the map, and
Yeah.
we argued
Oh,
that...
yes. Rachel was new how to pronounce certain
Oh,
cities.
that's what it was. Yeah. What was that?
Prescott. It's
Yeah.
Prescott.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know,
Prescott.
Pronouncing everything wrong.
It's
in the
Casa
beginning.
Grande,
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
And I said in Buckeye, it's Buckeye. Buckeye.
And now it's in the zeitgeist now.
We're
Now it's
doing
on
it.
air. We're saying
committed
Buckeye.
to
as-
it.
Buckeye! If any of you are watching in Buckeye, let us know if that's offensive to you.
Buckeye
We
rules.
don't mean to.
Freaking love
It's all
Buckeye.
in good fun.
Yeah.
So back to the Texans having the best accent.
Yeah.
in
Oh, yeah.
You just moved here. Do you think Arizonans have an accent?
Absolutely not.
No, I
but
didn't-
I also will tell you, I meet very few native Arizonans.
Sure.
Arizonians.
It's something like
Yeah.
1 in 8.
Yeah,
out here.
so it's
Yeah.
it's kind of whenever I
Depending on
meet
which
somebody who's
metric you
actually
look at.
from here, it's like wow. But yeah, I don't notice an accent at all.
I don't think so either. I mean, people, when you go to another state, they're like, oh, you can tell you're from somewhere else. But however, I am Hispanic too, so maybe a little bit of that comes in
Yeah.
my Spanish that I don't know, that I grew up around.
Accent's an accent, you know.
Do you ever find when you're around people with accents that you kind of start to talk like them a little bit?
Sometimes, yeah.
Only British people.
Really?
Because like, I had to do
Let's
the
hear it.
Madonna thing.
Let's hear it.
Whenever well, I'm not around any British people right
Oh,
now. It's just
darn.
more fun to say things in a British accent.
It is.
Yeah.
It's fun to do accents in general. We do a ton on the show.
So the
But
garage,
nobody likes
garage.
doing a Boston accent unless you're making fun of it, right? How is that number 2?
I don't. That doesn't make sense to me.
Sexiest.
I agree.
You did your whole weather report
Yeah, yeah,
that way.
yeah.
Good
Wicked
job.
hot. I loved it.
Yeah, just hanging out with the people over there. It's
Matt
just
Damon.
drop stuff, you know. Get a beer in a butt, hanging out, go to the Packy, pick up a 6-pack before. You get some Dunkin' too in the morning.
Is that sexy? What do you guys think?
Oh, I can't.
I don't know.
Well, I dated a guy from the UK one time, and all the women were like, "Oh my gosh, does he have an accent?" They're like, "It's so amazing." And I'm like, "Yeah." He would be like, "Oh, my daughter Lily May. I went to go
my,
see Lily
yeah.
May today," and
Oh,
I'm
that's
like,
lovely.
"Oh, okay."
But you get sick of it after
cute.
a while.
I'm sure.
I've dated people with accents, and at first it's a big wow. This is
Yeah.
so cool. I swear, 3 months later, you're like, "You fiend? You fiend?" It's called a phone, okay? I don't know what you're trying to
The
say.
telly,
Get
yeah.
it right. You've
Or
lived-
the
you've lived here for
holiday is
3
a
years.
vacation.
Holiday, yeah.
He'd be like, "Are you going on a holiday?" I'm
What do you
like,
think is the most attractive accent
Holiday.
for a female to have?
Floridian. Yeah.
Wow.
only because
Florida?
that's what you married.
Exactly. Good right answer. See what
I was
I'm
trying to
saying?
do the math. I didn't
know.
connect those
Yeah.
dots. I was like, what's she talking about? Gators? And damn it. You got me with the one over my head this
My
time.
wife is from Florida.
Sorry, Kim. I love you. The Aussie accent for me, if I find a gal with an Aussie accent, it's 2 points at least.
Yeah.
That's hot.
What about a Latina? You know?
No, I'm scared of you.
Yeah, we are.
When you
We're a
yell at
little
me in your
spicy.
Latina accent, I feel like you're about to punch me. I'm like,
Where have you been? I've been waiting up all night for you.
all right, let's get to our extra shot, guys. Clue number 2 for Where's Gerke Going, the finale this Friday. I promise I'm going to stop talking about this segment as soon as we do the show on Friday. But in the meantime, see if you can guess where I'm going.
Hot Dog, we are so excited for the final episode of Where's Gerke Going? Are you going today?
No, I'm leaving Wednesday. I'll send a video back Thursday, and then the finale is set for Friday.
Okay, well, we wanted you to have some snacks on your long flight.
Why such the mischievous look with the snacks?
Well, might be a clue, it might not be a
You're
clue.
trying to get me to eat something healthy. That's the
Right.
trick here.
Trying to get you off the pizza slices.
Oh, come on.
California, baby. That's it. Healthy.
the
Tons of
pizza.
pizza
We're
in
in
California.
California. I can't
Chicago.
wait. San Luis Obispo.
Yeah, that's
The San Joaquin Valley. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. I can't wait.
lots of good pizza in the valley here. Real quick, let me just throw that out there. I'm not staying in the valley. I am actually going somewhere, but
I think you should go somewhere in the valley a few times, though.
San Joaquin
you know,
Valley
show
is
people
in
what's going on
California.
here.
What's going on in the
I know, but
valley?
I was just, I was relating.
sorry
to
about that.
Got your back. Sorry, Kim. What time is it? How much time we got left in the show? I need a
Got
clock
like
over
2
here.
minutes.
Producer Alyssa says 2 minutes. You want to get into the NCAA stuff again, or are we just worried that we're going to get really...
Hey,
I think you shared your
Just
piece on
wait.
that.
Split straight down the middle on that one.
Michael says the
Nobody
Buckeye
agrees.
thing is offensive, and he's from Ohio. Well played, Michael.
Hey, Russell said that the chair you have is pretty cool. Why don't you tell everybody the story? No, the one at your desk.
Oh, I thought you meant the squeaky chair.
No.
Speaking
Oh, this chair's getting ready to go.
Russell, the chair at my desk, that neon green number, is a gamer chair technically, and
pretty sweet.
yeah, Amazon was having a half-off sale, so
Did you
I got
bring
that.
it in yourself?
Yeah,
bought
he
it.
did.
Listen,
He
listen.
put it together himself too
Yeah, I
here
did.
in the office.
I love
Very
12 News, and I appreciate that they continue to pay me for doing television stuff. But the chair selection when I got here a couple of years ago was not great. Very uncomfortable chair. So I was like, you know what? It's for $70. I'm just
I
gonna bring
definitely
my own
noticed
chair.
that immediately when I came here. I'm
It's
like, how
pretty
does he have
pronounced.
such a fancy
Yeah.
chair?
Hey, when you
It's
get your
ergonomic.
next job in Fresno, can I have the chair?
It's yours. I'm not gonna be able to take it with me. Go Bulldogs!
Disassemble it.
All right, guys. I'm off tomorrow. Well, I'm not off. I'm working in my secret city.
When do
I'll
you
send
leave?
a little video.
Overtime.
I gotta go. Actually, I gotta wrap
Oh.
this up. I gotta flight
As they
to
say
catch.
in Boston, you're going to be working overtime.
Overtime. OVAH.
Who's coming in for you, Mitch?
Probably Mitch.
Mitch,
I think
okay.
we got Mitch. Enjoy Mitch. And enjoy the after show tomorrow at 7:30. Love you, people.
Bye.
Bye.